indoctrinate our kids because they need to be like strong and fight for God and be indoctrinated, yes, but not like fucked up. Like, you kidding me? That's not good for anyone here. So it's like for him to say that, like, I accept fucking Jeebus Kremst simply because he was the only one that made sure that the kids don't get fucked up. It's like, man, I'm pretty sure there's just whatever.
All hail to Gibbers Kremst. Hey, Tim, are you there? He's on the phone.
I don't know if you guys know who Longmont Potion Castle is, but he's like a prank recorder who you could call it absurdist comedy, where he in the 80s he would prank call people continuously, driving them crazy, and he would record them having, mental health, emotional, breakdowns. And it's kind of sad because you hear people, in their, loneliness and desperation responding to a prank call. So I just get the feeling this is technically, not only is it a roast, I'm going to reframe it all and just say this app is technically a prank call. But that's technically what a roast is, because it's like people, I don't know. I just think of that Johnny Carson roast. Or have you ever seen the Trump roast? Like Comedy Central put together all these roasts that, that's what this is. It's like people getting up on stage and giving a roast, whether it's of themselves, of other people, or a combination of both. I'm a self-deprecating comedian, and I just think that a lot of the people on here who declare all or nothing statements about their religion, they are not willing to admit that they're actually comedians. And part of their mental neurotic dilemma is that they take themselves so seriously they can't actually be self-deprecating to see the wisdom in playing the fool. And I'm just saying that it's kind of like show business or comedy, in the sense that if your publishing is this all or nothing and so intense, I don't know why people would want to join your religious movement or religious philosophy or political philosophy if you're such an all or nothing communicator, but yet you're not really that well organized, because you're on here having random debates in the afternoon with, I mean, I know he's recording. You can hear it in the background that he's actually recording what he's doing. So he's at least creating. But what blows my mind is that people will come here for years and never create anything. And like they're the bigger suckers. I mean, Roy works in the recording industry. He's a musician. I mean, this is technically sound, creation on this app, and we are the instruments.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, there are, I call them like, you're old enough Republicans to remember the Whack Pack on Howard Stern.
Yeah. Yep.
These are all the Whack Packers. Midas, and all the different, Matt Adams and John Lee. I just look at them like, clowns pouring out of a clown car, right? Oh, and Tim, you're one of my favorite people on Clubhouse, and so I say this with all love. From one person who is the same as you to another. A couple weeks ago, you pointed out that I am not one known to be patient, and I own that. It's true. You are completely right in every way, and I have been observing you, and I just wanted to point out that you are no paragon of patience yourself. Very well taken, Steve. I'll take your criticism. Just pointing the mirror that you pointed at me is all I'm doing.
But you got to understand, patience is directly relational to whether or not you're intentionally creating a recording. Because if you're recording somebody playing the fool and being, insane and ridiculous and neurotic, like you're there for that purpose to let that person speak. So that's why I say if like you can't let a neurotic person speak, it's probably because you're not recording it.
Dude, you touch on like solipsism.
I see.
Self-effacing comedy is gone from them because it's touching too close to suicidal ideation. The id death, like God died. It's like, oh, Voltaire took it a step further. He's like, I killed God, right? That kind of language is like enough to trip someone. Simple little flips like that. I don't know. That's what you were like talking about. Why they can't engage with comedy, or why they're. That's why it's just fear, social fear, pressure, and suicidal ideation. It comes from solipsistic dread, like nothing matters except me.
I mean, I've heard Christian preachers that logically make sense to me, but they don't have the attitude or demeanor of your typical of somebody like Midas. Like Midas is a communication off-putting person, but you could listen to many Christian preachers where you'd say, yeah, okay, that sounds all nice and positive, and it makes sense. It's linguistically correct and logical, and it's historical, and it ties into all the former myths and astrological type of things. I mean, isn't it just a large language data set we're trying to share with each other, but we just have these short conversations and there's no actual glossary being communicated? So it's like this app is a very dysfunctional, hyper social activity, which people feast on neuroticism. When you hear somebody who is, perhaps special or touched with autism, um, I don't know. Is life is cruel, and a lot of times I do just view us as like baboons or apes, and I don't know. It's I don't know if you've ever intentionally hurt somebody in your life, but if you do intentionally hurt somebody and you're able to actually reflect and understand the lack of wisdom or why you did that, it's really because you're stupid. So I mean, because when you cause harm to somebody else, you're causing harm to yourself, and it's a waste of your time. So, anyways, I'm just saying that this app and this atheist theist debate, I love it. It's one of my favorite topics. But all roasts are funny. I don't think the topic actually matters. I just think it's the roast which really brings the community together, and it has to do with catharsis, um, and dopamine creation. And what's funny is it can be cringe or it can be negative, but it still ends up being somehow a positive event. But at the detriment of people's feelings if it's a good roast. Because a good roast hits at the core of self. Like if you watch the Donald Trump roast or Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
roasts, like it really gets personal. But it's all in the performative art that makes it a transformative experience. Because people know it's comedy.
Yeah, Honey Badger. I say this with all he'll say, he kind of likens it to like a gladiator ring. Like we're Greco-Romans, let's all get in the ring and spar here today, And sometimes you're sparring against the guy with the trident and the net, and sometimes you're sparring with the guy with the mace. The other times with the guy with an axe. The other times with a sword. It's just kind of like you're still sort of measuring yourself up to these people. T, did you get your thing published?
You talking about my game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Steam, and it's one part of 13, and I'm working, I had to chase the money for a minute. You know how that goes, right? And so I'm building what is actually going to be an open source project, which is something that somebody needed. And it's good for a lot of money. I'm using AI to do it. I've got 2 bots running. They just write code full time, and I just sit here and with them. I've generated about 300,000 lines of code so far, and it's going to be a open source web directory built on modern frameworks, Next.js, and focused on AI integration for things like approval of directory listings, from submissions, going out and finding submissions on, and stuff like that. And the thing is that right now there's not any good open source initiatives that fill the void. And so I've just got to spend like the next 2 or 3 weeks just whipping these spots before I get back to finishing the game. But I was about halfway through the second part, which was the trolley game, and I had generated about 120 assets using Midjourney that looked really great for it. So I'm really excited to get back to it at some point here. It's a long-term thing, but the first part is up and working on Steam even as we speak. So if you Discord me, I'll definitely send you a beta key.
Are you what's your Discord?
Oh, let me find it here.
I mean, what do you think about people that have never even had the God debate in their entire lives? I mean, are they just that stupid? Or, because I bet you a lot of people go through the whole lives to never even have a conversation about God or nature or reality or consciousness.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, and the interesting thing is, well, you mean like people who literally aren't like God believers at all, or could you also include people that just grew up believing in a God but aren't like interested in the topic really?
Yeah, people who are just completely not interested in the topic.
I think that you find a lot of that. I think you find a lot of that, especially in countries where like it's like 90% one religion, where you sort of like you go to Italy, like you're just Catholic, right? But nobody gives a shit, right? You could just be technically Catholic, but nobody cares. You don't go to church. You don't talk about it. As long as you don't tell everybody you're not Catholic, you're fine, kind of thing,
I put it in the chat there, Tim.
I mean, that's like saying people in an ethno state no longer, educate themselves or spend time communicating things about God or religion. It's like if you lived in Israel, everybody's kosher because technically everything's kosher. Like all the food and everything. So, but you go outside of Israel and everything has to be certified kosher. So I'm just saying that it's a lot easier hidden maybe because like what you just said, I mean, I would consider the Vatican like an ethno state.
Yes. That's a good way to put it. I lived in Peru for a while back when I was younger, and that's 90. When I lived there, it was probably.
Let me just say right off the bat, I'm not human until I have my coffee.
Maybe a little bit less, but like just nobody was not technically.
Do not talk to him until he's had his morning coffee. That's all I'm gonna say.
So I'm gonna
don't want to talk to him.
Catholic in the way that maybe a Jew could be a Jew.
Should we call back and ask how many people she slept with?
Yeah.
I want you to jump up and down.
Okay. I actually really enjoy.
Hey, how's it going?
Jews are fun to talk to.
The drops of us to continue the show.
Because they can be completely like atheistic.
I smoked some weed and So you've been hanging out at the club lately?
Yeah, I go to the club.
Did you? Well, you did go to a club recently, though, didn't you?
Oh shit! Oh, my glasses were on my ass.
What is it that you're looking for? Hi, my name's Nancy. How are you today? Good. I was calling to see if you have underwear that has a lot of coverage in the front.
A half a million lines of code in
What
the
kind?
coder making that to
Probably maybe extra large or double XL, but just because I don't shave around the shirts with those.
So my arm was bit off when I was back.
So the Beastie Boys were in town.
About 120 assets using Midjourney that looked really great for it. So I'm really excited to get back to it at some point here.
With the mace, the other times with the guy with an axe, the other times with the sword. You know, it's just kind of like, hey,
I say this with all love. From
Oh,
one,
sorry.
from
I was
one,
gonna say, I meant to ask you about that
it's just
because
going to count against the
you
people
were saying that, and that actually intrigued me a lot. But it seems to me that, like,
started, like I
that
mentioned, I had good
level of
that's
proficiency
from my friend,
through AI is just
for
really needs
as
the
far
demise
back as
of
I can
actual
remember.
human coders.
and then I give them to people, and some people would
really
buy
does,
them.
because
Try to sell someone's house.
the only thing that's stopping me from just implementing my entire process is I'm just too busy running my entire process to get this job done. But once the job is done, there's nothing that's stopping me from just automating me, the guy who just sits here and wicks the bots, right? And then at that point, right, it's the type of thing that really does do what you want it to do, which is that you give it an idea. And what it does is it generates the specifications, and then from those specifications, it generates the unit tests, and then from those unit tests, it generates the code, right? And all along the way, it just keeps on breaking down the unit test into more specifications for more code to generate, and it uses GitHub to track all the issues, to do PRs, and then the bots do code reviews on the PRs against each other. They implement each other's suggestions, and it's the type of thing where the collaboration of the AIs really does improve the code base, like at a rapid rate.
You typically engage with Quranists or Sunnis.
With
I'm from a very minority.
Which the bots threshold, right? And 24 hours later, you have all the tests fixed, type of thing, right?
And like, just to help me put it in perspective, if you were to task, let's say you were presented with that same problem with the needed fixes, right? And you asked human coders to do that. How long would it take human coders to get that fixed?
You want to play the comments, people.
That's correct. Yes.
No,
that actually is a very
we're talking about it's not just pennies on the dollar, it's fractions of a fraction of a fraction of a penny on the dollar when compared to an $80,000, $100,000, $120,000 coder. We're not even talking about the $240,000 coder that I am that's got to sit there with 120 assets using
Let me ask you a question. So let's take that out to the future even more. Like right now, there's software companies, right? Let's say some software company, and they're like, we want to penetrate the point of service industry, and we want to have a new point of service, cash register and inventory, blah blah blah, right? Right now, there's like this company, and they kind of have their proprietary stuff, and they write their code, and they do all that, et cetera, et cetera. In the future, those companies aren't even be around, right? Because there'll just be one somewhere. Anybody could just go and just say, I need a this, and you can have it in 2 seconds, right? Like 20 years down the line.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The AI is just
saying you're a Hamas
at
supporter.
one time.
It's like
Simply
insane. Like
diffuse the entire
why say that to people? I don't.
code base, and it'll be
not saying
right
you said
and
that,
ready
you
to go. Right, that's where we're headed. Right now, you gotta sit here and whip the AIs and tell them, follow the process, which is generate the spec first, do all your thinking up front, write all that down, then do a new context window with the spec, write the tests, then do a new context window with the test, write the code. Then do a new context window, review the PR, review the code that just got written and make suggestions. Then take the suggestions to a new context window and say, implement these suggestions, right? And it's one of those things where that's an automatable process. And so in 3 or 4 years from now, that process is going to be completely automated.
Wow. And then that's what I'm saying, 3 or 4 years, but now moving forward 20 years, right? That's just like mind blowing, right?
Yeah, that's the diffuse E20, right? And where you go, right? That's where we're headed right now with it, the first time, right? You don't have to sit there and go through the iterative process anymore, because I'm working them like you would a team of Scrum junior developers, right? I'm working them through a Scrum-like process, a Kanban-like process, and then forcing them to follow a script. But in 20 years from now, it will just diffuse the entire code base for shot, right?
That's freaking insane. What's up, Usama? How you doing?
Hello, guys.
Do you ever find software to be kind of annoying? Meaning, like, it's an essential thing, but it's one of those things where it's like sometimes just drawing a picture and even using paper is essentially the same thing.
Do you guys know Darkesh? I think his name like that. An Indian guy who made podcasts usually about AI things. With a beard.
I'm not familiar with him now.
Oh, I was just watching an episode.
You're trying to stupid with me, man.
How do I test for God inside of that test tube?
Listen, I already told you empirically.
Yeah, so what test would I run that would
Look,
demonstrate?
man, if you're looking for God, I believe that you can find him and come up with a way of detecting him in the universe. I believe in you.
Okay, how do I do that?
Look, I don't know. I'm not looking for God.
You don't know. So you are saying that we can do something that you don't know we can do, even though you're saying that...
Yeah, I don't know how to make a cell phone, but I'm using one.
Kind of annoying, meaning like...
Well, I don't. So you're very much more special than I am.
But it's understood is what I'm saying. It's understood how to make a cell phone.
Yes, it is, but I don't understand it.
Okay, that doesn't matter.
Then why are you talking smack on me?
I'm not. I haven't done that a single time.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you don't know how to experiment for God in a test tube? Like, what the fuck is this, man?
That's not what I said, and
you had a problem with the word cambium for like 5 fucking minutes, bro.
Why you want me to smack talk?
That's where we're headed.
Oh, no, you've been screaming quiet enough, sir. You've been screaming at the top of your fucking lungs.
I have not been screaming, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna talk more quietly too, so it
Because
sounds
it's
like I'm
better
safe.
if it's quiet, right?
Yeah,
because the words mean...
Excuse me, is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast?
Yes, it is. Welcome. How are you, comedy?
Hi, Dr. Donald.
The Republican just showed up to you. It's like 5 seconds ago. I can't invite you up. If you just want on a mic, my club deck is on.
Yeah, Donald, I'm gonna follow your lead and talk real quietly so people think I'm sane.
Because you think that the volume of the voice of the words makes the words mean different.
Well, why did you elevate your voice so much if you don't think it makes a difference, motherfucker?
Well, because you were trying to speak on top of me, and that was rude.
Yeah, I apologize, and you were scaring me with that loud voice. It was very
Donald,
aggressive.
you're like the opposite of a prank caller.
Voices. You should be scared about weapons. That's what you should.
Have you ever seen public access television where people call in and prank the show?
Sorry, comedy what?
Have you ever seen public access TV where people prank the show?
Yeah, because Dash, welcome to the room. Thank you for coming by.
Donald, you're a dumbass. You're welcoming me?
Yeah, always. I like to welcome people to my room.
Yeah, then this ain't... What's the conversation right now? What's going on?
I'm trying to get a demonstration that God exists, or a definition of what a God is. What is God is the, like... I like to talk to theists about God. So if you want to talk to me about God and you believe in God, I'd love to have conversations.
Yeah. What's your criteria for proving God?
Well, I mean, what is your definition of the word prove?
Evidence, I would say.
This Russian revolver fires without a sound, but here are 3
three interesting facts you probably don't know. First up, it's silent firepower. The OTS-38 Stechkin, developed in Russia in 2002, fires 7.62 by 41mm SP-4 cartridges. But here's the crazy part. Instead of a loud gunshot, the captive piston system seals all the gases inside the case, making it completely silent with no muzzle flash. It's the kind of stealth technology perfect for covert operations.
Oh yeah, so I got my dad's gun.
But
whichever one you're thinking about.
But yeah, for the most part, it's like a creator god, and nothing's ever been created. So that's the contradiction.
Okay, so you just think everything comes from nothing. Okay.
Except no.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast that I've been seeing on public access TV, Donald?
No. So I don't believe that everything came from nothing. I don't think nothing ever existed. I accept that the universe is eternal. All evidence points to the universe being eternal. All evidence points to
Infinite too, or just eternal?
Being eternal, quantum fields being eternal. All evidence points to energy being eternal, whether it's a substance or not.
Is this the site? Is this the Longmont Potion Castle psychedelic prank call podcast I've been hearing about on public access TV, Dr. Donald?
No, it's not. All evidence points to matter being eternal for the most part, as long as you make sure that it's equivalent to energy and that it can transform.
That's genius. Genius. PhD that's genius.
Actually, I got it from PhD, so yes it is. No. This is not my idea.
But I'm just asking a question. Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call TV show that I've seen on public access TV?
No, it is not.
Yeah, so Donald, this is why I asked you the question, what is your criteria for evidence? Because
demonstration.
Everything you said so far is demonstration of the creation of the world, what the evidence is to, and so on and so forth.
That's not what I said.
How this guy loves Phoenix. What are you really looking for then? Maybe I'm misunderstanding that. So
yeah, my criteria is that if you cannot demonstrate this thing to exist, I do not believe in it. Everything that I believe in because it's been demonstrated.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I'm just going to keep pranking Donald. Keep doing the Longmont Potion
Castle. Do you have
Castle.
archaeological evidence?
I'm putting this all on YouTube.
Speak about
as Longmont Potion Castle.
Israel. For example, the obvious
Sorry. Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast that I've been seeing on public access TV, Dr. Donald?
No, it is not.
But is this a world record podcast?
I don't think so.
So what is it that you guys are asking about and talking about in here?
I would like a demonstration of the God that this person believes in, and he is unwilling to do that.
I'm not unwilling. I was trying to get your criteria. Because I'm not. Say that again, Donald.
So you're unable.
No, I am able. I am.
Okay, so demonstrate the God.
I was trying to really narrow it down so I know what.
You're down to demonstration.
Right, but demonstrate what? What do you want to demonstrate?
The Longmont Potion Castle podcast is about demonstration.
So demonstration means show to exist. All you have to do is show this thing to exist. Dad, thank you for coming on stage. I appreciate it.
Right, that's what ass nigga. Stop kicking me from your rooms, you ugly ass nigga.
I don't kick people from my rooms, please.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Benji.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was asking.
That is an ugly ass nigga, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Which word?
Dr. Phoenix, you can't use the N-word on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast. That's not appropriate, Dr. Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm just
What about nerd? Donald is a nerd.
Yeah, I'm fine with being a nerd.
Shit.
That's
Hey, Donald, honestly, bro, we can't really have a conversation.
That's not allowed to say nerd. That seems racist to white people.
Oh.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle prank call podcast that I've been seeing on public access TV, Donald?
No. So I don't believe that everything came from nothing. I don't think nothing ever existed. I accept.
Telling you, Zenobity, this is going to be funny. I'm going to put out like 100 Longmont Potion Castle prank call videos, and people will think that like it's Longmont Potion. They'll think it's him, but it's just Clown House people because people kind of sound like that, myself included. But everybody kind of sounds like Longmont Potion Castle. Isn't that true? A lot of people sound like Longmont Potion Castle.
Yeah, he has a very normal sort of voice.
It's the sound effects that make it fun because it makes it psychedelic and trippy.
You're welcome to come on stage, sister.
Dude, you were losing your mind. Once I showed you that guy, you were losing your fucking mind.
No, I mean, I recognize it because it's Clown House. It's prank calls, like, it's very smart. And I think the term, it's almost like surrealism because the absurdist comedy just shows you how crazy people are in terms of communication. Like, it's so funny, dude. People are their own worst enemies. It's crazy. Hi, Dr. Julian.
Hey, Edmund.
How are you doing? It's good to see you again. So good to see you this afternoon.
Yeah, good to see you too. Always a pleasure. But yeah, J-Lo, I just wanted to say as well, like literally, like I was like trapped in the library because there were like protesters outside, like blocking
threatening to hurt you?
entrance and exit.
Threatening to come in and hurt everybody?
No, they just like blocked the entrance for whatever reason. We were just like trapped, and I was just like, oh my god, like what if a fire like broke out and like I'd be fucking dead. What the fuck?
So nobody could go to class, huh?
It was a library, so it was like kind of different, but it's still pretty bad because like you can't like trap people in a building, like that's fucked up.
Yeah, and it's also a big fire hazard. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Comedy. Comedy silent.
Do you know who Longmont Potion Castle is?
Who?
Longmont Potion Castle?
No.
He's like a prank caller from the 80s that would prank people, and then he created records and he's like a prank caller, like the Jerky Boys. And I don't know, it's just Clubhouse is kind of funny because it's a little bit like, a prank call podcast. That's why.
Did you ever go into the room here that has that?
Yeah, those aren't funny. I think pranking people.
They're actually terrible.
Yeah, pranking people here on Clown House is funny. Getting people all upset and screaming and hooting. Putting them into a road rage frame and upsetting their emotions. Like, that's essentially what Longmont Potion Castle did, where he would repeatedly call people and drive them crazy. So, a lot of these.
Give me an example, like of what? Like what was? Because I probably know him if you told me what his work was.
He would just call somebody, say, "Hey, I'm your new neighbor. I was wondering if you have any clothes I could have." And he would just keep calling them and asking people that. Like, it's just very funny. But he's, I was listening to a podcast with him today talking about all his recordings, and it's interesting, because they're very funny. Because it's basically like, people say on this app, crash out, this person's crashing out. Like, it's a prank call show about getting people to crash out.
Have you seen, I don't know if this is your humor, but Vlad on Instagram?
Yeah.
Vlad Nicola official.
Super funny.
So funny, right?
Vlad TV. I don't see these things, like, you have your moments, I mean, I don't know. Like, they have their fans, but I create stuff now. I very rarely even consume all these other influencers now. I'm just like sitting here constantly creating.
Do you know Zach Marks?
Is he on Instagram?
Yeah, I can link him his profile.
Oh, wait, I can look it up 1 second. Z-A-K?
Z-A-C-H M-A-R-G-S.
don't think I know him. Oh yeah, I'm following him. Who is he? Which one is he? Let's see. Yeah, why is he funny? I follow him, so he must be. I must like his humor. Oh yeah. I know who he is. Yes.
Yeah, he's really funny.
You know who's really funny is Donald Trump. That guy is funny.
The one on Clubhouse?
No, our president. He's got a great sense of humor. He loves to. He loves to laugh and joke. People don't think of him as a comedian, but like, because everybody's so uptight, you know, like, it's just even the president has to have a good laugh, and
you know who I think is really funny, Edmund? Luigi Mangione when he blew Brian Thompson's head off.
You think that was funny? I don't understand.
Extremely funny.
Why is that funny?
Why is it not funny?
But what's funny about it, Julian?
I think it's funny.
So you think it's funny that Luigi Mangione murdered a guy in the streets of New York City? An innocent man?
Allegedly.
What is this, like a prank call show? You're detached from reality?
I guess.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle podcast? Where you say absurdist things like, I think it's funny that somebody murdered an innocent person, and then you want to see how people respond to the prank call? Is that what you're doing, Dr. Julian?
No, I'm just sharing my opinion.
Well, it sounds like a prank call show to me. Are you sure this isn't the Longmont Potion Castle podcast?
No, it's Deny, Defend, Depose podcast.
I'll ask him. Listen, don't you want peace with the Arabs as if the roadblocks for peace is the construction of Jewish neighborhoods in East Jerusalem? You know what he said?
Yeah, Chris, why don't you invite Julian up and tell him what you think about his sentiments about murdering innocent executives? Maybe you two could have a little micro debate where I create some Longmont Potion Castle podcast content, because Julian's so smart. Not very smart, Julian.
I think it's funny.
So you think it's funny that Luigi Mangione murdered a guy in the streets of New York City? An innocent man?
Allegedly.
What is this, like a prank call show? You're detached from reality?
I guess.
Is this the Longmont Potion Castle podcast? Where you say absurdist things like, I think it's funny that somebody murdered an innocent person, and then you want to see how people respond to the prank call? Is that what you're doing, Dr. Julian? Thanks, Dr. Julian, for being a part of this podcast.
No, I'm just sharing my opinion.
Well, it sounds like a prank call show. See, Chris, like, everybody's going to think this is, Longmont Potion Castle. Like, everybody sounds like... Longmont Potion Castle is technically Pepe. That's what's happening here. He's evergreen. Everybody sounds like him. People here in Clown House is funny. Getting people all upset and screaming and hooting. Putting them into road rage frame and, upsetting their emotions. Like, that's essentially what Longmont Potion Castle did, where he would repeatedly call people and drive them crazy. So, a lot of
give me an example, like of what? Like what was, because I probably
you say, "Hey, I'm your new neighbor. I was wondering if you have any clothes I could have." You know, and we just keep calling them and asking people that. Like, it's just very funny. But he's, you know, I was listening to a podcast with him today talking about all his recordings, and it's interesting, you know, because they're very funny. Because it's basically like, you know, people say on this app, crash out. This person's crashing out. Like, it's a prank call show about getting people to crash out. People here in Clown House is funny. What do you think, Dr. Julian, of the Longmont Potion Castle podcast so far?
Love it. I never knew I sounded that sexy.
Really?
Absolutely.
What's up, Doge?
Yo, what up, Hussein? You're on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast.
Yeah, man. I've seen it, man. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm good. I'm here with Norman, Zenamini, and Julian, and Halit. How are you, Dr. Hussein?
I haven't, it's just me and you here, but there might be, are you in another platform, or?
Mm-hmm. Multiple rooms. I got 4 Clown House rooms open.
But I don't see them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, welcome to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast.
That's all fine, man. How you doing, Doge, man? You good?
Yeah. What was that, Dr. Hussein?
Oh, shit, man. You good, though?
Are you good? Is that what you're projecting? Or is that what you're asking right now?
I'm good, man. I'm just saying what's up.
Cool. Well, welcome back.
What's up?
What's up? Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we prank call people here on Clown House and make recordings for YouTube as an homage to the world famous prank call absurdist artist Longmont Potion Castle. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hussein. Julian, so tell us how much you love Mangione. Hello?
Well, I don't. Oh my God, that echo.
Is it me or is it you?
Yeah, could you fix that, please?
Oh,
Okay,
my bad. Let me just mute up.
No problem. But I guess I think that the current trial going on is pretty unfair. His team isn't able to see any evidence, so they have to watch an HBO special.
What's up? Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we prank call people here on Clown House.
Mark on the punish justice system, and recently he was sold out to have the death penalty, which just shows that justice in this country is extremely unfair. We're seeing another injustice, the likes of the Rosenbergs. So, yeah, it's just insane that this young guy with the life ahead of him is being put through this unfair trial to make a martyr out of him.
If you could, exchange your life for his so he could be free, do you think you'd be willing to sacrifice your life so Mangione could be free? Again, this is the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, Dr. Julian. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't really understand that question.
Would you sacrifice yourself for him so he wouldn't have to die in a capital punishment event? Would you do a switch? Would you save his life for yours?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
So you're not a true believer at the end of the day, as you like to say. Mangione's a guilty man, but you're not willing to sacrifice your life for him.
He's not guilty. He hasn't been found guilty.
Right, but, allegedly.
He pled not guilty.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just think that's a loaded question. I don't agree or disagree. I just think that's a loaded question.
Your life so Mangione could be free. Again, this is the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, Dr. Julian. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't really understand that question.
Would you sacrifice yourself for him so he wouldn't have to die in a capital punishment event? Would you do a switch? Would you save his life for yours?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Thanks for participating, Dr. Julian. I think these Longmont Potion Castle videos are going to do great. You're just the kind of guy we're looking for. This is great comedy.
I'm glad to be content.
The Longmont Potion Castle Comedy Podcast. Chris, what do you think about this new rebrand to Longmont Potion Castle?
Anyway, free Luigi.
Yeah. What do you think young people... Let me start the short again. Hold on a second. It's only 60 seconds long. Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle Prank Show podcast. We have Dr. Julian here, a free Mangioneist. Dr. Julian, what do you want to tell all the supporters of Luigi Mangione?
Anyway, fuck you, free Luigi.
Free Luigi. What does that mean to you? How does it make you feel?
I don't know, they just need to free my baby daddy.
So Luigi Mangione is your baby daddy, and you want him freed. Dr. Julian?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, thanks for coming on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast. How would you describe yourself, Dr. Julian?
I don't know. How would you describe me? I'm curious.
Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle Prank Show podcast. We have Dr. Julian here, a free Mangioneist. Dr. Julian, what do you want to tell all the supporters of Luigi Mangione?
Anyway, fuck you, free Luigi.
Free Luigi. What does that mean to you? How does it make you feel?
I don't know, they just need to free my baby daddy.
So Luigi Mangione is your baby daddy, and you want him freed. Dr. Julian?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, thanks for coming on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast. How would you describe yourself, Dr. Julian?
I don't know. How would you describe me?
Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle Prank Show podcast. We have Dr. Julian here, a free Mangioneist. Dr. Julian, what do you want to tell all the supporters of Luigi Mangione? This is so stupid that I think people will wonder what is all this about? I'm not saying you're stupid.
So you don't think it's a miscarriage of justice that a potentially innocent man is being arraigned by the justice system?
No, I think he's probably a prime suspect. But this is the thing about the law, man. It's a big business. He's going to have to go through a big trial. Do you know how much his parents are going to have to pay for all this? Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we're talking to Dr. Julian about Luigi Mangione and how much he loves him and how he thinks this is a miscarriage of justice, that Mangione didn't murder the United Healthcare executive. Dr. Julian, tell us about your love affair with Dr. Mangione.
Oh, wow.
So Julian is a young, low IQ, dumb person who is completely brainwashed, misinformed.
Not low IQ, dumb first.
Yeah, you're on the Longmont Potion Castle podcast where we prank call people here on Clown House. This is the 2025 V2 version of Longmont Potion Castle. You are...
Hey, Longmont Potion Castle audience.
You're
Free Luigi.
This is the dinner for schmucks. We invited a free Luigi Mangione LGBTQ person.
Not LGBTQ.
Really? Could surprise me.
Anyway, I'm 8 inches in dick for any ladies in the audience.
The Longmont Potion Castle shit is really funny. I feel like I should play a little bit. Let me do the best of Longmont Potion Castle real quick. I gotta go to the bathroom. Longmont Potion Castle podcast, please.
Longmont Potion Castle podcast, please.
Hello? Hi. This is Russo from Drug Dumpling.
We can come up with something. It'll take 5 minutes to go get beers and then come back, and then you'll hear.
I'm so
it'll
tired.
start.
I'm get beers. Hold on, I'm getting a call from Los Angeles.
Oh my God, maybe it's a Hollywood producer. It might be. Hello?
Hi, yes, Patrick.
Yeah?
What's going on? Hey, yeah, my name's Noel. Everybody calls me Doogie, though.
Doogie?
And, yeah, Doogie, yeah. I got your number from Big Red, our other neighbor. How you doing today, man?
Doing good.
Oh, super. Super. Well, hey, I know you're probably busy. Just real quick, I'm new to the neighborhood. I moved in across the street. And Big Red was saying he might be able to help me with some tinting. I got an 18-wheeler. Tint the windows in there. I know how to do it and everything. Maybe if you could just give me a hand or just for some time, maybe next couple days or something like that.
Oh, you chipmunks. Yeah. I get. Is this LPC? Okay, Theodore? Doogie? Or Noel? This is an LPC? Who the fuck is LPC? Get off the phone. Okay, I'll get off the phone. He had the voice mod on. Yeah, you think it's hard to do that? I don't
Wait,
know.
guys, I just got a call from Spotify.
Calm down. Oh my God. Okay, pick up. Okay. Shut that up. Oh, dude. Hello? I was told to get off the phone.
I apologize about that.
I got told to get off the phone. What's going on?
Oh, no. Yeah, I was just trying to reach Patrick. Is this Patrick up there, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I travel with this 30-year-old macaw bird. He goes everywhere with me, never leaves the 18-wheeler, and I was hoping to maybe put, like, some louvers in the windows on his area, you know? Maybe, like, a visor, and I could just use a hand with it.
Yeah, I could help out.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll let you pick the font and everything. I was hoping to make it say Nicodemus. That's his name, you know? Like maybe an Old English style lettering, like a tattoo almost, you know? Something like that would be sweet. Yeah. I should warn you, though. Nico, that's what I call him. He will talk like wild. He'll talk to you. He'll talk like wow. And he'll communicate great.
This guy's got to be
so,
it's totally full of crap. This guy talks fucking crazy. Who the fuck is this? You on the phone with an animal? Hello?
If you play like a doo-wop station on the radio, that bird will sing like wow. Like if you play,
what is he doing? What is this bullshit?
Gone, they've been a gone.
Oh my God, is that
Remember that
T-Pain?
song from Canada? So anyway, would you want to go with a nanocarbon tint on there? What do you think? Or maybe
I could do a nanocarbon tint.
perfect. That's what I was thinking. I was
Seriously,
feeling
this connection is odd.
on the pigment, maybe with the ceramic infused barrier, like Big Red had our neighbor here. He's got the same thing. How much butter do you think you put in?
How much butter?
How much butter?
Sputter?
Yeah,
Sputter's giving him the time of day.
I know. It's like it's probably a scam call.
I like
scam
copper.
likely.
Probably trying to do some rap scam too.
Copper sputtering.
Copper sputtering. I got 2 tons of copper sputtering.
What the hell? What is that?
I'm in the right place. Heck of a deal. I could tell you right here. Oh man. As long as we achieve glare reduction. Oh, and that reminds me.
This guy's Officer
What would be the absorbance reflectance ratio, you think, approximately? No, the reason I ask is because I'd love to have a good reading on the BTU meter. Once I get that thing, it's got to be right. I've got a bird.
Could you repeat all that?
Just across the board. Because refraction is key, of course, across the board. I don't have one of those fancy spectrophotometers, and I trust whatever we come up with will give us the absorption we need.
Holy shit.
Quick question. That reminds me, do you think we could do like a
reflective film to get rid of the glare?
Well, because
Welcome back. What's up? Welcome back to the Longmont Potion Castle podcast, where we prank call people here on Clown House and make recordings for YouTube as an homage to the world famous prank call absurdist artist Longmont Potion Castle. Welcome to the show, Dr. Hussein. Julian. These videos they're not, YouTube caps it, but most of these videos will get 400 views, but
I think it's funny.
this Luigi Mangione one's already at 400 views, which is wild. Jeez.
The plans and I really introduced him to the black community.
The Republican comedy YouTube channel is doing pretty good. It looks good too. It's got all this pepper stuff. See, then I mix in the Tanya. Beyond thought, how shall we understand the words of Elijah? No thoughts can grasp you. You? When you think a thought, you are greater than the thought. But when that thought is of Torah, which is rooted in God, the thought is greater than you, and you become absorbed